What's going on, y'all? Tom here. Uh, just getting up from a long nap. Had a migraine that you would not believe this morning, boy. This trip has been rough for me, man. But anyway, figured I'd make this video to share what you could do. I mean, just a couple things, nothing major. What you could do if you break down on the road. Now, it's not a matter of if, really, it's a matter of when. If you live this life full time, you have no choice. Eventually it's going to happen unless you keep your stuff in tip-top shape all the time on everything, and even then sometime it might still happen. So don't count on the inevitable not happening, because it's very likely. With that being said, I've broken down more times than I care to remember. But it was always okay. It was never nothing major until I started dealing with fuel-injected vehicles. Fuel injection is a pain in the butt, and I'm going to tell you why. And then I'm going to go into what to do when. So fuel injection. So on a fuel-injected vehicle, not all of them, just majority of them, have a fuel pump. Electric fuel pump that goes into the gas tank. Now, this electric fuel pump that goes into the gas tank, in order to change it, normally, unless it's a Crown Victoria or a Lincoln Town Car, is a pain in the butt, because you have to drop the gas tank to change this thing, okay? If you are on the side of the road and your fuel pump has just went out and you are in the middle of nowhere, you're screwed. Now, I always believe in carrying extra parts with me, but it wouldn't matter if I was to carry an extra fuel pump or not, because in that case, dropping the tank on the side of the highway that's a no-go. That's not even safe. Now, I've done it before, but I don't do it. You're gonna die. Do not do that. I've changed the transmission on the side of the highway before, but that's a whole nother story. Don't change the fuel pump on the side of the highway. But what's going to have to happen is you're going to end up having to get that thing towed to a shop, and they're going to drop the gas tank, and they're going to charge you about $100, $200 for the fuel pump if you're lucky. And then the labor is going to be another $300, $400, $500 just to change that bad boy. And it's not like it's, I mean, this is something that even if you were to be on the phone with me, I mean, I could walk you through it, but you're still going to have to get it towed. And that tow alone is going to cost, I mean, your average hookup fee is about $80 these days, between $40 and $80. And that's not the per mile fee. I mean, that's just the hookup fee. Ask me, because I know I used to have a tow truck. With that, so on the older vehicles, okay, the ones, the 70s, the 80s, 70s and the 80s and the 60s, you don't have that problem. And the thing is, they still make the parts for the basic vehicles from the 70s and the 80s and the 60s even. I had a 68 Chevy van. Fuel pump went out on the side of the highway. I just happened to have a brand new fuel pump already, but I bought it from AutoZone because I kind of figured eventually it was going to happen just from past experience. Unfortunately, at the time before that, I didn't have anyone like me to tell me, hey, buy a fuel pump because that bad boy is going to go. Just like on the yellow van when the water pump went. Same situation. I had it already ready already. The state trooper sat up there just knowing I was going to walk away. Nope. Couldn't get me. So anyway, back to the fuel pump. On the older vehicles, the fuel pump it's an external fuel pump, and they're normally on the side of the block. If you have like a van, an American van, or even some foreign vans, believe it or not, like the old Toyotas have it sitting on the top of the motor. There's normally 2 bolts and normally 2 to 3 hoses going to this. There's one going in, one going out, or one going in, one going out, and one return line. It's really easy to change, and if it was to ever fail on you, you could email Brother Tom, and I could be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Break out the 1/2 inch and the 9/16 and a pair of pliers, and we're going to fix this, and we're going to get through this together, and you're going to be riding in a few days, a few minutes. I don't know how mechanically inclined you are or are not, but it might be a few days if you don't know what the heck you're doing. On the other hand, I got you if it's old. If it's not old, you're going to have a problem, which is why I prefer to have something from the 80s or the 70s. And I ain't got that problem. The Blazer I just had was from the 90s, and it was fuel injected and it was a pain in the butt to do anything. Putting that engine back together wasn't too terrible, but it was a pain in the butt. Along with the past few cars I've had, it's been fuel injection. It's easier for me to sell it and get another car. Especially my health being like it is, I don't feel like putting up with it. With that being said, I like the cars from the 60s and 70s and the 80s. Most of my cars are from the 50s, the 60s and 70s and the 80s. For reliability. Now, a lot of y'all are saying, well, the new cars are reliable. Yeah, they're reliable until they break down. Then they're not so reliable anymore when you got to dig in your pocket and dig out $1,000 or however much it's going to cost you to get that bad boy fixed. When mine break down, I reach in my pocket, grab a 20 and go get whatever I need and then put it on myself. When my sister's cars break down, they break out at 20. Go get the part, put it on, and it's done. When my mother's cars break down, same situation. Yes, my mother works on cars. And you don't have to be too mechanically inclined to work on the old stuff. You just have to have the general concept of put it back together the same way you took it apart. Which works on everything. It's just a lot less complicated when you're only talking about 2 bolts and a couple hoses. And I'm just talking generally about the fuel pump. I mean, there's other things that could go wrong too, like the alternator, which is also 2 bolts and a belt and a couple wires, but we won't get into that right now. That's a little bit more complicated. But I say all that to say, if you stick with the older stuff, you probably can't go wrong. Now, see, people are realizing this, so the older stuff is going for a lot higher dollar now, which is really amusing to me. I have a hard time finding anything older anymore. I'm looking for an RV, but I want an RV specifically from the late 60s to the early 80s. I don't want nothing newer. And, well, I mean, I'd take something newer. Yeah, I'd take something newer. But I don't prefer something newer. I want something older. From way back and way backs. A Coachman, a Champion, or a Winnebago, those are probably the best 3. Or even a Glasstron. If you don't know what a Glasstron is, I'm going to do a video on that. Glasstron, they make boats. But for 1 or 2 years, they made RVs. And I just happened to have one. And it was fun. But anyway, so yeah. Now, with that being said, I'm going to get into what to do when you break down. Or, for some of you, if you break down. Now, the first things first, try to stay cool. No matter how bad you think it is, it could always be worse. Nobody knows this better than me. You can't find nobody who knows this better than me. And I'm going to tell you a story about that. I know y'all like, oh Lord, he's going off on a story. Oh geez, just get to the point. Yeah, so I want to tell y'all a story about that. Years ago, used to be this guy. He was homeless. Uh, he was my buddy. I was in high school, and every once in a while I would skip school. Well, I hope my high school teachers aren't watching this. But every once in a while I'd skip school, and I'd get my cousin, Mo, who's passed now, and I would go get Tree, this guy named Tree. Now, Tree was a homeless guy. At the time, I don't really know. I guess in a way I was kind of an asshole. Um, I still kind of am, really. I mean, honestly, if I gotta be honest with you. But at least I'm a nice asshole. but so it was this guy named Tree, and he was homeless. He was in his 40s or 50s at the time. He just got out of prison for doing some really messed up things, and he wasn't mean, he wasn't evil or nothing like that. It so happens he was at the gas station asking for change one day, and I asked him, well, why are you out here? Because he was clean. I mean, he was clean as shit. He was like, well, I just got out of prison, and so on and so forth. So we got to talking, and he was like, yeah, man, I used to drag race back in the day, and come to find out, he used to drag race with my mother back in the way backs, and just a whole bunch of stuff, you know. And so me and him used to hang out, and he used to always have this great information, man. Like, he'd always have the best information, the best advice you could get would come from this guy, you know. And I think I was going through something one day, and it was pretty bad, and I didn't know what to do. I was really going through something, and I mean, I was probably about 17 or 18. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, you're 17 or 18, what could you possibly be going through? Trust me, I was going through something. And he was like, well, it could always be worse. And Mama, I don't know what the hell you mean it could always be worse. Now, mind you, we're riding. I'm not thinking, wait a minute, this guy, he's homeless. He sleeps outside. He ain't got nowhere to go. He got to beg for food. He said, it could always be worse. No matter how bad you think you got it, somebody's always going to have it worse than you. So that happened, and he was right. And yeah, after that, when I really thought about what he was saying, because he kind of went into detail on it, I never really looked at it like I have the worst day, because I don't. Somebody else does. And all I can really do is feel sorry for that person. You know what I mean? So she's not in the car right now, and her phone is ringing. Hold on, let me look at this right quick. Nope. Okay. She went to go handle some things, and I'm waiting for her to come out, but she couldn't take her phone with her. But anyway, so yeah, he would always tell me that, and he'd always watch my back, always. Well, eventually, one day, I don't know, maybe I forgot, I don't know, maybe I just got too big for my britches. And one day, I don't know, I was about 22, 23, I'd come back home. I don't know where I was all that time. I was just rolling as usual. Came back home, and he was in a wheelchair. And I said, well, what happened? They had to amputate both of his legs. And he would always tell me, love me, love me, love me. Everything's going to be all right. Could be worse. And I'm like, man, you in a wheelchair in the cold, in the rain, with no legs, and it could be worse? He's like, man, I ain't worried about this. My name is Tree. I'm going to be here. I'm like a tree. And I said, man, you crazy. It could be worse, man. I mean, that's pretty rough. I'm like, yeah, but just think about the next time you have it rough. It won't be that bad. And he was right. He was absolutely right. So whenever the car breaks down on me, I don't worry about it because it could be worse, way worse. And I've seen way worse. Like I said, it was a time where I had a tow truck. I've seen a lot worse, a whole lot worse. So try to stay cool through everything all the time if you can. And I understand a lot of people can't. I get that. Believe me, I get that. And I know how it feels to be in a situation where you're not able to keep cool. That completely understand that. Oh, she's coming back. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna have to switch sides of the van here, I think. I guess you can sit on the passenger side for now. I just don't feel like driving. So, well, I hope she doesn't step in that stuff over there. Hold on one second, y'all. Watch where you step over there. Yeah.
Hi.
So, yeah, your phone just got done ringing. I don't know if it was you or not.
No.
So anyway, what was I? Yeah. So try to stay cool, because I know sometimes it's not easy to stay cool. Just try to be cool, and everything eventually will be all right. Secondly, always get AAA. Something I don't have currently that I should probably have, but I don't know. I'm pretty confident in myself. I just hate activating Plan B. Plan B only lasts temporarily, and now I have to try to find a car with no money. But try to have AAA, and I think it's $52 a month. $52 a month. $52 a year. And you get like three $200 tows, or three $100 tows, two $100 tows, and one $200 tow. And you get like roadside assistance if you run out of gas and things like that. Worth it. Definitely worth it. $52 is worth it. That's $1 a day. No, that's not $1 a day. What is that? That's $1 a week. Mm-hmm. Yes. Definitely want to get AAA. What else? I have notes today because I had a migraine when I was thinking about this stuff. So, notes. Let's see. Also, try to save somewhere between $500 and $1,500. The more you save, the better off you're going to be when it happens. 500, I'd say, is probably the safe amount. But if you can save more than that, save more than that, because you're going to need it. Not everybody can save $1,500. Not everybody can save $2,000. Save what you can, and try to have some sort of plan B, because that's going to help you go a long way. Now, my plan B at one time was a bicycle with a motor, and it worked out just fine. I didn't have no problem with having a bicycle with a motor. In fact, I made a two-seater bicycle with a motor just in case I broke down and somebody else was with me. And it works. It works well. That was my backup plan. In fact, I was in the desert one time and my van broke down. I think I was in... Where was I when that happened? I must have been in Texas. And the van broke down, and I had to ride the bike with the motor all the way to the parts store and back in 110-degree weather. That bike with a motor was way better than having to make that trip on foot. You see what I'm saying? And so that was my backup plan, because I didn't have a whole lot of money. Wouldn't be a bad investment to have some sort of moped or something to carry with you if you have a van or enough room for it. If not, definitely have a backup plan. Uber is always somewhere. Okay? So you can do Uber or something. Let's see here. Breakdown insurance. Yeah. So they have these companies that insure your vehicle for breakdowns. Now, I don't know how much it is. I don't really know much about it because I think it's ridiculous. At the same time, it's probably not so ridiculous if you're not me. So it's probably not a bad idea to maybe invest if you feel like, you might have an issue. Now, if you think you might have an issue, you probably don't want to go nowhere without getting the issue checked. Some issues are not big issues and you can ride, but some issues that seem small are really big and you probably should have looked at. So it does never hurt to take and have something looked at just to have it looked at. I mean, you don't have to get it fixed by the person, just have it looked at, and then, we'll sit here and figure out what the issue could be or how to fix the issue or something. But, yeah. So there's that. Back to my notes. Hold on. And then there's being resourceful. Where do I begin? So, being resourceful. Alright, so being resourceful. So when you break down, when you have that flat tire, or when you're having an issue, if you know what the issue is, you can always go on Craigslist, look for the parts before you get to the next town, or after you reach the town that you're already in. Somebody might have it. When I was going to the RTR, I kept having flat tires, so I would purposely look in the next town to see where I could get a wheel and tire from for a reasonable price at 1 o'clock in the morning. People are friendly. They will help you. I've gotten a lot of help, and I can't remember their names, but I'm grateful for their being. Trust me. Craigslist is a heck of a thing, and also Facebook Marketplace. You can look in there and just type in the search bar wheel, tire, fuel pump, radiator, whatever you need, and find it. Also, with being resourceful, we won't get to that part yet. Let me hurry up here because my phone is about to cut off for you. So another part of being resourceful is if everything goes to crap on you, which this is about to be the end of the video, but if everything fails and just goes to crap on you like it did for me yesterday, then you have your $500 plan, you've got your other things in line, you're being resourceful. So at this point, you've got some sort of plan B. Whatever the heck that might be. Try to get rid of the other vehicle. When I say that, I don't mean leave it stranded on the side of the road, even though you might want to leave it stranded on the side. Post that bad boy on Facebook Marketplace for $500 and let that be part of your resourcefulness plan of getting the plan B rental vehicle thing or the next thing that you're going to get or whatever. And somebody might buy it. Now, scrap prices are kind of low now, but you might get between $100 and $300 for your scrap vehicle. So that's what I would go for. I would post it for $200 or $300. Let somebody talk you down to $100. Hey, you're gonna lose it anyway, right? Lose it. It is what it is. You might as well make a couple dollars on it while you can. That's worst case scenario. That's worst case scenario. Now, everybody, I want y'all to be cool and stuff and relax. And I know my phone ain't ringing while I'm on this. Can you believe that shit? Anyway, so anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. And it don't work. It's broke. It don't work. I don't even know why it's ringing. It work? That'd be amazing. I'm about to say. That's the other retarded phone. It just does whatever. Anyway, yeah. Try to stay cool, everybody, and just know that things aren't always as bad as they seem, no matter how bad they are. And I'll talk to y'all later. If you like this video, go ahead, like and subscribe. If you don't like the video, like and subscribe anyway. If you like my pretty face, like and subscribe. If you like her pretty face, like and subscribe. If you don't like her pretty face, but you like my pretty face, like and subscribe. And if you don't like either one of our pretty faces, then okay, that's fine too. Go ahead on somewhere. But make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll talk to y'all later. And also, if y'all want to contact me, it's somewhere down here. Along with, if y'all wanted to donate anything. Special thanks to all of the people who helped me along and donating things. Because y'all, yeah, I can't do these things without y'all. So, y'all got me out of the state. Alright, so that's saying a lot because I needed that. And, yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. And yeah.